very much. I'm very excited to introduce you to the J team, Jake, Jasmine, and Jared over there. They've got some impressive solutions to share, and what excites me most about it is a lot of times when we're looking at new technologies, particularly very new technologies, it's a lot more about sizzle than the steak. But I can tell you after reviewing these, they're much more beyond just buzzword compliance. We're going to start with Jake. Please welcome Jake Simon, the founder of Connected Fresh. His company is using smart sensors to transform hospitality operations with innovative solutions that enhance food safety, reduce waste, and improve operational efficiencies, helping your business maintain the highest standard of quality across their properties. Please welcome Jake. There we go.
Victor? Cool. All right. Hello, everyone. We have 5 minutes, so I'm going to talk fairly fast, but we're going to have a Q&A portion of it, so please hold your questions. So we are Connected Fresh, right? Jake Simon, co-founder and CEO of Connected Fresh. We're really focused on using smart sensors, off-the-shelf sensors, to be able to identify issues and risks across the organization before they actually become a problem. So how can you prevent things from even happening and having to deal with the aftermath of a food safety incident or anything like that. So there's kind of two sides. I know that here we have proactive monitor, identify and flag issues as soon as or before they occur. So just as a quick example, as soon as could be temperature monitoring for a cooler, right? This isn't necessarily novel. This is the least differentiated thing that we do, but being able to understand, hey, that temperature for that cooler in the kitchen or the catering, right, is going out, right, or it's going above what it should be. Can you notify someone as soon as it happens so they can fix it before it ultimately becomes a problem? The or before portion, right, is that we're using machine learning, anomaly detection, right, to be able to identify some early warning signals. So if we take a very small, very simple to implement energy monitor, right, and pair it with that temperature data, well, now it's 38 degrees and that all sounds great, but it's way overworking to get to that point, right? It's signaling early failure, driving up your utility cost, and these are things that are right in front of us that we can take care of right away. So by way of introduction, myself and my co-founder, Tushar, we both met at Deloitte Consulting. We were doing the Internet of Things at an industrial scale for Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies, right? So we understand the breadth and depth that it takes to be at kind of an enterprise-grade type of solution, right? And the rollouts and the training and everything that comes with that. Ultimately, we're not manufacturing anything, right? We're using off-the-shelf sensors that are around this protocol that I'll get into called LoRaWAN. All you need to know, super long range, very low power consumption. So a sensor that fits in the palm of your hand can work 5 to 10 years on a single battery charge. But ultimately, because we're not a hardware company, we're a software and analytics company, right? We're taking that data, we're contextualizing it, we're pulling in different types of sensors and different points of data to identify these issues and risks and be able to report them to the right person at the right time. With that, right, we're focusing on equipment issues, certainly, food safety and compliance incidents, and preventing costly human error, things like pencil whipping these temperature logs that no one even wants to be doing in the first place, things like that. So ultimately, we are not a generalist IoT player. We are focused on hospitality and food service and developing out these solutions that, we have fully automated cool down logs, right? Getting to checkpoint 1, checkpoint 2, that is not a very straightforward process, right? It takes a lot of software and logic to be able to get that right, and be able to be hands-off with it, right? So we are developing these solutions for this industry, so it's not just a generalist solution. Across the organization, we're focused on different types of roles: operations, food safety, facilities, and on, right? And then we're working to pull this data together to be able to meet different goals across the organization instead of just being focused on one specific role. I'm working with facilities, and that's the only thing, right? You're able to use these sensors for many different roles across the organization. So here's a non-exhaustive list of some of our solutions, right? I'm not going to go through them, right? We don't have that much time here. Happy to talk about it after, but we have temperature logging, automated cool down logs, power, doors, right? Leaks, in-transit temperature. There's so many different things. Because we're not manufacturing these sensors, we can pull them very quickly and be able to keep going with that. These off-the-shelf sensors are completely pre-configured out of the box. So something that is it's fully pre-labeled. You push a button and it's already on. You pop it in the walk-in, and that's the entire setup process. And it's a modular type of setup, right? So start with temperature monitoring if that's the challenge, right? From our consulting days, we are focused on the challenge and then providing a solution, not providing a solution and then figuring out how it's going to benefit you. So from the integration standpoint, right, I asked a question earlier today about integrations, hugely important part to us, right? So the sensors from left to right, the sensors themselves, they're off the shelf, right? We can use tons of different types of sensors that can do everything from fill levels to energy, et cetera. The data and analytics, the application, the mobile apps, the push notifications, email, phone call, automated text messages, things like that, right? That's very important. But one of the most important parts of this is what we've been working on also at the Restaurant Technology Network, which is the integrations piece, right? It's your data, where do you want it, right? And being able to send it to any other destinations to trigger other things like open up a work order if something is going wrong, or send it to a compliance management system and a corrective action system. You can do all these things automatically just by sending the data to other destinations, throw it in a data lake, a BI tool, wherever you need it. But that's something that we're very focused on making that not only able to be done, but accessible, right? Not huge development time to be able to get to that point. So with that, that's a very quick preview of Connected Fresh. Thank you very much for allowing me to share here, and we're excited to talk a little more.
I've got a couple canned questions, but you guys all know this is much more entertaining if the audience asks. So we'll start off, but if you have a question, raise your hand, we'll get you a mic, we'll start. I know this group is going to want real-world examples. It all sounds really cool. Can you share some of your success stories that where you've helped business save money, prevent critical issues, and what kind of measurable impact you've had?
Yeah, so there's a couple of them that are my favorites and are fairly recent, right? So we've had a couple of implementations recently. One was Shamrock Foods. They were able to save almost $70,000 in the first 3 weeks of them being implemented across their grocery stores, right? So that was able, they had 2 coolers that went out. Instead of, they were alerted to it, they were able to take care of it and schedule someone to come out instead of what they estimated would have been a complete loss of those coolers, right? That's not an uncommon figure, right? I mean, we all know here how much money can be in these coolers, right? Being able to prevent that, not only that, but the impact to the organization, the logistics having to do with calling someone in and getting something fixed up. I mean, why not prevent it instead of just reacting to it?
So when you use the word integrations, it scares a lot of people in this room because it's the hardest thing I think we do sometimes. As technology evolves, how important is the ability with platforms to integrate and to share data seamlessly? And what role do you see open data standards in playing in shaping the future? Yeah,
so I mean, it's incredibly important. The crux of it is that historically there have been a lot of types of vendor solutions that have it's part of their moat, it's part of their walled garden of data. They want you in their piece of software, and they're going to put up the walls to keep you there, right? But that doesn't, it limits the customer, the operator, right, from being able to do anything that they want with that data, which we consider to be theirs, right? But it also kind of hampers that platform, right? So that platform that has brought maybe it's a checklist system, and they give you a temperature sensor, and they say you have temperature monitoring, right? Well, that can't then extend to something else, right? Because if their focus is checklist system, well, their focus isn't energy monitoring. So now they need another provider for another solution doing another thing, right? So how can you create these more open standards and data sharing to be able to push and pull data to the right places, but do it in an accessible way? That was the second part, right? Which is, it's not, hey, here's an API, go look at our documentation and go create an integration, right? It's, give me an endpoint and tell me the syntax that you want that message to send in, and tell me what you want, what you don't want, and it's just going to send in that format. So you can reuse components that you've used for other things, and really trying to make it as easy as possible for people to be able to send and receive data.
That's great. We've been doing temperature monitor for a long time, so it's a familiar concept. But as we discussed when you and I met before this session, you've seen solutions that vendors can very significantly very significantly in how they're implemented. What mistakes are they making, and what sets Connected Fresh apart, and how does it better address the needs of hospitality innovation?
Yeah, so there's a lot to that, but one of the key parts there is what should people be thinking about, right? So like, if I have one ask from the audience here, right, it's that if you're interested in talking about this kind of stuff, I just want to hear feedback and understand what challenges are from you, and in return, right, we want to be able to share, well, what are the things that you should be considering when you're looking at IoT as a general capability, right? There's IoT having to do with building management systems. There's a different view of it here. But ultimately, what a lot of people get stuck in is they do a pointed solution. That example of I have a food safety checklist system. They gave me a temperature sensor. Now I'm doing temperature monitoring, right? But the problem with that, number one, what I mentioned before, where you can't then go add all these different types of sensors, right, and expand your capabilities if it's not in their business interest to be doing that. But the other portion of it is that a lot of times it's kind of a basic version, right? So temperature monitoring doesn't mean the same thing, right? If it's 43 degrees, well, is it going to notify you as soon as it's 43 degrees, or is it going to be able to filter out, well, someone's loading in product, or it's a defrost cycle on the cooler, right? Those are the types of things that generate false positives. And if false positives generate noise, and as soon as you have noise, no one listens to the system at all, right? So something where we've seen a lot of failed implementations because people aren't tuned into it and aren't building something that can keep expanding over time.
Great. Next question, and we'll go to the audience, but what's the largest deployment you have so far?
I can't say the name of it.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, we've been working across a few different.
How about in number of devices?
I mean, it's in the thousands.
Okay.
Yeah, it's certainly in the thousands, and it's not just some of them. A lot of people start with temperature monitoring, right? And I mean, transparently, that we love that, right? Because it gets you in with something that's going to exactly solve your needs right now, right? But then don't ever do anything else, and that's fine. Or if you want to just keep building it, that's fine, right? So we expect those deployments to increase quite significantly, because people are always interested in trying, hey, what about this use case? What about this use case, right? And across departments too.
Great. We've got time for one question. You're letting them off easy? Wasn't there a plant there that was supposed to ask a hard question? Well, then I'll go ahead and let you go. Thank you very much. I'm excited about this.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Please find Jake and talk to him about it. Next, we're going to welcome Jasmine Saliga. She's the founder of Fixify. She has spent her entire career in hospitality technology, and I have too, which has been much longer than hers, and is focused on creating an easier way for hotels to evaluate and buy tech. Jasmine. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon. So if I stood here today, which I am, and told you I could help you with a much simpler and more efficient way to narrow down tech for 2025, think about how many more systems you would potentially modernize if it was just simpler and easier for your team. So as Jeff mentioned, I'm Jasmine Saliga. I am the founder of Fixify, and we are here to walk you through how we are really trying to solve the tech selection problem in hospitality. So I'll start with a quick statistic here. Duetto released a study actually in 2022, estimating that in the following 3 years, tech investment for our industry would increase by 78%. So we're halfway through that estimated time frame. I would be willing to bet that about 2/3 of this room are in some way, shape, or form considering new tech for your property right now. So I would ask you to think about, as I'm talking today, how it's really going for you and your team. Now, we did our own survey of our own hotel and consultant clients, and we learned that on average, they're telling us it takes around 10 hours to simply put together a feature requirements list. And I almost think that this room would tell me that that is probably a lower end of the spectrum. So we know there are a lot of challenges. Now, this room, you guys, seems like you have it down. But in the day-to-day conversations I have, there are so many challenges for hoteliers navigating tech, integrations, all of it. So I could read off a slide, but I'm going to tell you a quick story. So we had a hotel operator who had determined it was time to upgrade or replace their PMS. So what were the steps they took? Obviously, first and foremost, who's part of this decision? We have a buying committee because we know these decisions are not made in silos. And then after the whole evaluation process of what do we even need, this team has to go through, start to finish, every vendor's sales process. Now, I love my vendors. I've been a vendor for many years, but it is a lot of time on your team, only to find out that typically over half of those vendors actually don't meet the need that the hotelier had in the first place. So we're wasting time, and we know your team likely did not get into hospitality to buy tech. I'm so sorry to tell you, but they're here to create experiences. So we at Afixify are trying to help solve this to help your team get back to what they do best. So why are we the solution? Afixify is an algorithm-based technology that helps you, using only the data, determine which vendors are the best fit for your tech needs. Now, I'll go into in a second how this works, but the best part of this is you stay in the driver's seat. So I know what you're thinking. We don't say, oh, someone's looking for tech, we're gonna blast it out to every vendor in our database. That's not how this works at all. We let you maintain control, and we help with the personal, warm handoff and introduction when the time comes. I'm gonna walk you through a quick workflow of how this goes down. So you simply register for the platform, you choose what it is you're shopping for, and then from our pre-vetted feature requirements list, you build that requirements list out within our platform. On average, this takes 20 to 30 minutes. Now you'll see you're served up a curated dashboard that tells you, based on percentage match to your specific needs, not the needs of someone else or another operator, which vendors are the best fit for you. In our next iteration, the names of those vendors will not be concealed, by the way. Now from here, you've done research, you've done due diligence. If this is kind of where you take the tool, that is awesome. But if you determine that based on the information we're giving you, it would make sense to move forward in talking to one of these vendors, we will provide the warm handoff and we will facilitate introductions, making sure you're not having to go to an open-ended website form. Why are we different? Again, I know there's marketplaces, there's all kinds of things out there. Our algorithm is proprietary. Just want to emphasize, we are not pay to play. So no vendor could pay us more to be matched better to your hotel. We are purely based on the data and what is most important to you. We also have a rigorous vendor validation process where we ensure we take the first step to make sure those vendors are actually inputting real live features, not something on their roadmap. This includes integration. And lastly, what's the real value? Obviously, time is a huge piece of this, but we really want to make sure you're pursuing conversations with vendors that are actually qualified to work with you, saving you all of the time going down dead-end roads. And then we want to be able to help you prove that the provider you're going to sign with is actually the right provider for you, and we've seen this in real time, very recently actually. And lastly, we hear from new innovators every day, and we want to help you discover those innovators that may not be able to get to you or get in front of you at a conference. We have a ton of tech categories I'm going to skip for time's sake, but if you don't want to hear it from me, take it from the industry. People are loving what we're doing, and we are so excited to help hoteliers in their tech due diligence process. Thank you.
Thank you. You mentioned about your vendor validation process, and I know that building trust with your platform is important to this whole group. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you're validating vendors to make sure they're right fits and doing what they're saying?
Yes, it is a process. It's something that advisors have told us, this won't scale, don't do it, and we've said we're absolutely doing this. So we actually sit with the vendor, we get into the weeds of their platform, not a PowerPoint. We have them show us every single feature they want to add into our algorithm. We have them show us real time, this is live. We have turned away not full vendors, but vendor features by, when they can't prove that they're doing it, we say come back when you can. On average, this can take up to 10 to 15 hours per install for us.
Per install. So what does it look like for a hotel to join your platform?
So for a hotel, it's a membership. Annual membership is what we're looking at. We're very brand new, so but it's pretty simple. Work with me. We get you guys registered. We keep the registration link kind of private until we have the commitment from the hotelier. And then moving into 2025, we'd like to be able to put into play some kind of accountability where we're helping you monthly to make sure that you're following through on that tech shopping, that we have the vendors you're looking for, et cetera.
What type of hotels are you looking to partner with right now?
So right now, we're more on the independent, small management company, small group side of things. Obviously, a lot of those do not have the staff or the infrastructure on the people side to do a lot of tech due diligence, so that's where we're finding the most value. Moving into next year, we are hoping to add a brand filter so that we can filter out by brand, if you're a Hyatt, Marriott, Hilton, what is the approved tech for your specific hotel group or brand.
Great. So what's the life cycle typically going to look like for a hotel then? Once they sign up with you, is this something you look at them maintaining for a year or per project, or how does that work?
We would love a year commitment. So what we hear all the time is that hoteliers are really wanting to modernize tech stacks. And so we think, although it could be per project, I think a year-long partnership where, we're really saying everything from what are you shopping for, here are the new vendors we've added, to hey, we have a list of consultants that we really trust and we're happy to bring them in when needed if we can't help initially. So we're looking to really build the partnership, help solve their problems, not just a one-off shopping experience.
There's a lot of great solution providers here. If they want to get involved with you and they're not yet, how would they start that process?
Scan the QR code. No.
Scan the QR code.
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. You can talk to me. We have a very well-oiled machine of bringing our vendors on. We have specific categories we're growing right now before we move on to the next, but it's we have it down to an art. So reach out to us and we can get you guys started if you're interested in joining on the vendor side too.
Terrific. Anybody have some questions in the audience? We can take a couple. Oh, come on, guys. I'll make her hold the happy hour back if you guys don't start asking questions.
All right, Skip, what's your question?
All right, so you put me on the spot there. So once you've selected a system, do you have like a next level to it where you could actually run a formal RFP process or something against those vendors?
So no, we do the due diligence and research side. If the hotelier wants to take it further, we partner with some excellent consultants that can step in and help with that process. It's a good question.
Anyone else?
Anybody else? You guys are letting her off easy. Come on. Alrighty, then. Well, thank you very much.
Wait. We have a question. Hold on.
Like from the time, like, and pardon me if you mentioned it already. From the moment I make my request to the moment you spit out some suggestions, what's that time?
Less than 1 second. In fact, we wanted to have a little spinning message that says our algorithm is working, but it works so quickly our developer said to ditch that idea. So it's instant.
We have one more question here.
Yeah, I'd love to understand why you started this company and kind of what motivated you. And then the second part of it is, like fast forward 10 years from now, what does the success look like for you here?
So much for getting off easy.
That's okay, yeah. So short answer, no, I appreciate the question. I would rather have questions. So I'll try to make it quick why I started the company. I started in hospitality tech 2 days after college. I went from intern to VP, went through multiple acquisitions with my former company, if you recognize the name Digital Alchemy. Was very blessed to work with them. And in that process, from a vendor perspective, I saw a lot of these challenges from the vendor side, right? Like getting really qualified conversations and so many things. And then I can never present without mentioning my sweet boys. I have 3 boys at home. I stayed home during the pandemic. And when I came back, I decided I would help software companies and hotels. And through that process, I just realized this is a need. And I was having people come to me, ask me, how do we navigate technology? So I had what I thought would just be a little tool to help consultants with tech, and it turned into something much bigger. And then as far as where we see ourselves in 10 years, so transparently, we're an agnostic tech. We don't have to stay in hospitality. We want to help this industry as much as possible and get it really rolling. We want to help brands, independents, and then moving on, we certainly can help various industries. We also plan to add a problem solution analysis next year where you can search by the problem you're looking to solve. If you don't know what it is you need technology-wise, we can help with that process.
It's a great question. Great response.
Thank you.
Any more? All right. Well, then I'll let you off the hook. Jasmine,
Thank
thank you very much. You did awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Next, we're going to welcome Jared. He has probably the best title I've seen in a long time. He's the founder and CEO of Napper. It's a marketplace that offers thousands of flexible daytime hotel rates in 28 different countries. He has over 17 years of engineering experience at various New York City tech startups and is fiercely passionate about sleep health, getting people some quality rest in the middle of a hectic day. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. How's it going? There we go. So we're Napper, and we are helping hotels profit from idle daytime inventory.
The problem is that hotels have a lot of vacant space in the daytime, sometimes upwards of 42%. And these rooms are just sitting there unused and not generating your properties any revenue. If you look at a typical day in a hotel, 30% of your outgoing guests are going to check out before 9 a.m., and 30% are going to check in after 6. So there's a pretty big gap there, 9 hours, where the room is just sitting unused. Fortunately, we have the solution. We're a marketplace that offers flexible hotel rates to help people catch up on rest and meet the demands of their unique schedules. This also gives hotels the ability to list their hourly inventory with convenient scheduling. And you can see here, this is our website with the search in New York City, 63 hotel rates found sorted by distance. Why would you list with us? Well, as I just mentioned, you can create a new revenue stream. That's always nice. You can list as many time slots as you'd like. Most hotels list at least 2 slots with us every day. And the pricing is totally up to you. It's very easy to change this on demand, and it's a very easy portal to use. It also helps you onboard new users, right? There might be some budget-conscious travelers out there who think your hotel is too expensive. But if you offered a 6-hour rate for 50% off, they might be willing to try your hotel and give it a shot. And it also helps you leverage underutilized amenities like the gym, the pool, and any others that you offer. We have a lot of big brands on our platform already, as you can see. It's not limited to these, it's a much longer list. And we also have many boutique hotels as well, so it's a nice mix. How does it work? It's pretty easy. So you list your inventory either via a PMS or manually, up to you. A customer will go to our site, they'll book either with a credit card or they'll pay at the property, also up to you. And we send you an email every time a booking's made. There are a lot of use cases for short-term daily hotel rates. Most of them are legitimate, I promise. Air travelers are a big one. So let's say you get in on a red eye at 8 in the morning and you can't check in until 3 p.m. We've all been there, it sucks. You're stranded for 7 hours and you're really tired. That's not a fun scenario. Or maybe you're stuck at an airport for 7 hours on a delay or a layover. Daycationers are another great use case. Maybe people are celebrating an anniversary or just going on a date, or maybe they just need to get away from the kids for a little bit. Office workers who are going through a hectic day, maybe they're in finance or legal and they're working 12 or 14 hours. Maybe they need to get away to take a call or a meeting. And there's many more use cases, right? Maybe someone's on a long road trip and they're exhausted and they don't want to get into a car accident because they're too tired. Could be a medical worker at a hospital. Could be someone charging their Tesla who doesn't want to wait in the car for 3 hours doing that. This is our consumer app, and it's very easy to use. So the user will log in, they'll see a bunch of pillows nearby. You can sort by distance, time, or price, look at the amenities of the property. And this particular Courtyard Marriott by me in Manhattan has 2 rates, 10 to 4, 9 to 5. And then the user books, and they go and they pay at the hotel. It's very seamless. We have over 1,050 hotels worldwide in 28 countries. Over 10% of these are located at airports. And we're in a lot of major metro areas. New York is our biggest city. We have 75 hotels there. LA here, we have about 30. And Houston, Miami, London, Chicago, San Francisco. The list is pretty big. I'm the founder and ZZZEO. I'm an engineer and a big sleep evangelist. That's why it's called Napper. I'm joined by my co-founder, Jeff. He has 20 years of experience helping companies like Equinox and Toys R Us with their finances. We also have a really strong team behind us, strategy, design, biz dev, 2 really great advisors. And yeah, let's partner together. We are addressing a problem that will always exist, both on the consumer side and the hotel side, right? People will always be tired when they travel. They'll always have long days at work. And they'll always need something like this. You can't fix a bad night of sleep with AI. Coffee only helps so much. People burn out, right? So the best middle ground is having a bed and taking a nap. And likewise, hotels are always going to have some sort of daytime inventory open. Very few are always booked. So we're helping them as well. And we're already helping a lot of people. We've been live over a year. And we're on both app stores. So you can download us today. We're close to adding 5,000 more hotels. in a few weeks, and we'd love to have you on there as well.
Great. All right, I know the one question the groups here are going to want to know is, how does your pricing model work, and how do you guys get compensated?
So we take a commission on every booking. Doesn't cost anything to list with us. You could put as much inventory on there as you'd like. We just take a commission when a booking happens. Average of 14%. If you take that margin into account, though, you're still making a nice profit. So.
You mentioned the wrong reason. So how do you stop people from using these rooms for the wrong reasons? And what do you think those wrong reasons are? No, that's.
I will say that's the question I get asked the most. It is very difficult to stop prostitution. There's no database of prostitutes out there that we can, check when a booking happens. But we kind of leave that up to the hotels. I think they're pretty good at stopping that already. It's a little tougher to.
Revenue room's a revenue room. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, it is a revenue stream. It is. So we're not going to market against it, but it's a little harder to stop trafficking. I will say, having seen a presentation on that earlier, it's something that I'd love to really combat along with Hyatt. It's tough. That's very, very invisible sometimes. It's really hard to see it. And yeah, we can do verification. We can take a number of steps to stop that, but it's not always so easy. So we'll be proactive doing that, definitely, as much as we can.
So for your member hotels, obviously this changes the traditional housekeeping model. How have they pivoted in order to service rooms sometimes twice or maybe more a day?
Yeah, I think a lot of these hotels are dedicating a maid just to these rooms. So if they list 2 or 3 of these rooms on our platform, the maid will tend to those 3, and then any others that they can get to during their shift.
What's the typical amount of rooms that a hotel puts up on listing? 10% of their rooms? 2 rooms?
I think the average is somewhere between 2 and 3. You can list 1 if you'd like to test us out. You don't have to list a bunch. It's very flexible. It's the nice part. You can really dynamically change it anytime you'd like.
So roughly how many naps have rented from you so far in a year?
We have a few hundred bookings. We've been around about a year now, but that number is going up. So the more I market it, the more traction we're getting. So we're bootstrapped. We don't have funding yet. So a lot of guerrilla marketing campaigns so far. A lot of fun ones.
One of the things you mentioned was renting an Apple room in order to use the facilities. Do you see more people using it to rest, or do you see more and more people using it to use the gym or to sit by the pool or rent a cabana? What is the use case there, and how often are you seeing each?
I think most people are using it for the room. If you want just the amenities, you can use an app like Resort Pass. The real benefit of our platform is you get everything, right? And they're still pretty expensive for just getting amenities. You're getting a room, you're getting the amenities, you can take a nap, you can use the gym, whatever you need to do.
Hot shower?
Hot shower, exactly.
Excellent. Well, that's the questions I had, Can. I'm sure you guys have some questions out there. It's an interesting platform driving revenue.
Skip.
There you go.
I seem to be on the spot today. So a couple questions. Do you have anything running in the background that would give you suggestive rates in regards to what hotels around are possibly listing their rooms for? And question number 2, do you have any AI or suggestive features in regards to how much inventory that a hotel maybe should be offering up?
Darn it, we almost got through the whole session without those 2 letters, and you had to spoil it at
I
the
did.
end.
I did say it first earlier. Yeah, we are not using AI right now, but the 2 use cases you mentioned are very good ones. So we definitely will consider those in the future.
We have another question here.
I seen you have Hilton, Marriott, and I think IHG on your first slide. Does that mean you're integrating with their reservation system and its process for there? Or are you making reservation yourself somehow manually in the Hilton system, let's say Hilton systems?
Some hotels will integrate with their PMS, other ones don't want to. I think it costs like $1 or $2 per booking to use a PMS, so some hotels prefer to just do it manually. And if it's manual,
I think Opera Cloud is the only PMS you're currently interfaced with, right?
yes, but we could integrate to others potentially. We're a very small, scrappy team with a really good tech team, so we could integrate with others.
No Hilton, no Marriott, like H&R or whatever.
Not at this point.
Not
at
yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not at this point. But it's Opera, so Laura's going to be happy. Where'd she go? Anybody else? All right, terrific. Thank you very much, sir.
Sure.
It was great.
Thank you.
These guys will be around for a little bit. If you guys have questions, please reach out to them. Thanks to the J team. You guys rock.